After putting out all the fires, the Lemon Party returned to their Skylantern festival. Thanks to the roses Elodie had planted, the field was very pretty, but unfortunately, the lemons weren't quite feeling it anymore, and the Skylantern festival was somewhat unimpressive. With the festival out of the way, the lemons went back to work. An opportunity arose, but disaster struck at almost the same time, when Elodie and Maya were struck down with sensory Mechanites. This would test the group's limited medical resources. At the same time, an acolyte from the Empire asked Elodie to look after his favourite pet hare. This seemed like an amazing opportunity. As the pet hare arrived by shuttle, Elodie and Maya set about tending to each other's medical conditions. The sensory Mechanites were painful, but not life-threatening. With Elodie's new rabbit friend safely tucked away in the base, the group went about its business. While Elodie was planting more roses, she even met a cute little guinea pig and a fluffy raccoon. Once the wall was completed, the solar panels would be safe from attacks from raiders. As Hugh put the finishing touches on the wall, Maya returned from the hunt with a particularly fat-looking raccoon. Things seemed to have at last settled down around the lemon camp, and the three lemons went about their business. And then the raid started. With the group still only possessing one gun, Elodie had to watch as her grandfather fought off the attacker. This time, the old grandfather managed to kill the raider before he got too close. And so the lemons went back to work, but a whole day hadn't yet passed before another raid arrived. This raider gave the group a little more time to prepare, and another raider arrived. There were now two of them approaching the camp from separate directions. Maya made ready with his assault rifle, while the young squire stood waiting, knife in hand. This time, Maya was careful to pull back before the raider got too close, where he dashed himself upon one of the craftsman's traps. The fighting was becoming too frequent and too close to keep Elodie from the danger. For now, at least, the lemons were safe again. During the battle, a trader had arrived. Elodie went to see what he had, selling a bunch of sweet fruit she'd picked in exchange for a machine pistol. The trader told her it was like an assault rifle, but smaller. Gunshots rang out in the distance, and with neither Maya nor Hugh hunting, they became worried. It turned out that a bear had attacked the traders. The lemons rushed out of their base to help Sammy and his bodyguard. Once the bear was driven off, at least a little ways, Elodie was able to rush out and provide emergency medical care to the downed bodyguard. Maya and Hugh watched on nervously as the bear lingered dangerously close. The villager lingered on the very edge of death, and there was no time to move them. It was a near thing, but Elodie managed to stabilize them and bring them back to base. The guest was laid to rest in Hugh's room, as Elodie and Maya were both still sick with Mechanites. It had been a terribly busy 2 days, but now the Lemons got back to work on their base. Maya was set on extending a little animal pen so the group might be able to tame a donkey or an alpaca for some eventual move. Unsurprisingly, thanks to the grievous nature of her injuries, one of the guest's wounds became infected. Make that 2 of her wounds. On the way to tending Stanton's injuries, Elodie was struck down by fibrous Mechanites. Not sensory Mechanites, which she already had. No, these were an entirely different form of invasive, painful Mechanites. These are the sort of things that happen when you're sickly, a wimp, and a body purist. Oh, and there was a guinea pig out there or something. Now Maya had to tend to the drifter on his own, but he was mostly concerned for Elodie, who was no longer able to rise from her bed. Elodie was not injured as such, but the severe pain kept her in bed, and would do so for some time. Maya thought that if he could finish the animal pen, seeing, or even just hearing some happy donkeys might cheer his granddaughter up. The next morning, as Maya was feeding Elodie some berries, he realised that she'd been doing all the cooking, and that was another task that would fall to him and Hugh. They still had some packaged survival meals, but Elodie wanted to save those for the long walk to the spaceship. Showing that you truly can't have shit in Rimworld, one of the would-be donkey friends went mad and started attacking the party. Fortunately, the knee-high fence did a surprisingly good job of stopping the incredibly stupid animal. Assessing the donkey's wounds, Maya decided it was too far gone to save, and he transferred it to its new home in the freezer. Knowing more about the ailments on this particular Rimworld, the drifter Stanton explained that Elodie might well be bedridden for 1 or 2 quadrums. Also, there was a rat. And now Elodie's cute little rabbit friend apparently had the plague, proving that someone up there was pissing down on the lemon party from a great height. Maya, who also still had Mechanites, knew well the pain they caused. Whenever possible, the old man would sit with his granddaughter and do his best to raise her spirits. Whether talking about beaches, beetles, or the connection between aliens and philanthropism. That night it seemed like the metaphorical storm the lemon party suffered under would be replaced by a very real one. A dry thunderstorm rolled in, bringing lightning but no rain. The boys ran from place to place, putting out fires, trying to save their crops and very base. If any of the burgeoning blazes were allowed to blossom into a raging inferno, it might be too late to save their base. Finally, the rain came, and with it, the need to put out the fires was no longer so great. With Elodie incapacitated, and seeming to be so for quite some time, Maya had to renege on his craftsman's vow so that he could do more tasks around the base. transport pod came crashing down, and inside, some sort of violent pigman. Maya and Hugh simply left him there. Although Elodie had always expressed a desire to leave the Rimworld as soon as possible, with her incapacitated, Maya and Hugh looked to their own counsel and made extensive extensions to their current base. Despite all of her hard work in planting and caring for it, Elodie missed the first corn harvest. It was clear the little princess had vastly underestimated the amount of space that would be required to store all the corn she grew. Eventually, it was time to say goodbye to Dominica the rabbit, who had not died of the plague. Maya thought it was quite foolish to send such an impressive shuttle to ferry around a single rabbit.